friends, Occultists Anonymous, episode 122. Podcast guys, I know you are absolutely in love with having to hear me repeat that with the intro and then just now, but yeah. Pretty sure you've never seen that mug. I use it regularly. Yeah, you probably never noticed. Chat is already being sassy. Oh. As always, we are sponsored by Roll20, The Onyx Path, and viewers like you. Thank you to our viewers, including the ones in chat, and YouTube comments. Don't worry, we still read those. I read them regularly. Cambo can tell you about dropping a comment as I was going to lunch, and it was perfectly timed. So yes, thank you for everybody who's part of the community, shares with us, joins in with us. Even those of you who are probably never going to see this and are just hanging out in our Discord and just being wonderful, chatty people and contributing to the discussion and being good people, thank you. But a special shout out to our patrons, Al, Alan Michael, Alex, Alexander, Algos, Badur, Bernie, Blood Angel, Brandon, Carson, Christian, Danny, Doc, Dr. Tass, Emil, Giovanni, Jack, James, Jenny, John, Josh, Julian, Catfeathers, Melissa, Michael, Moku, Noba, One True Michael, Perry, Puppeteer, Ramon, Roivasgrad, Ryan, Schmitty, Sebastian, Sinnes, Stefan, Serenus, Terry, The Banty, Thomas, Usif, Sama, Firekeeper, and Zoltan. I was running out of breath there. Thank you, all of you, for your support. It means a lot to us. We were just talking about what to do next, and yeah, it's definitely going to be Mike stuff. We're going to fix something. And hey, hello there to Rude Condition, Woot, after 180 hours of listening, watching live. Welcome to the party. Yeah, shoot. Okay, so when we last left off, Atreides had unleashed pant spiders minions upon the thank you, Chris, I appreciate that. That's exactly the reaction I was looking for. We did what upon the asshole mammon seers who are in the downtown area. Of course, if they inspected said spiders, will find no kind of supernatural compulsion, just the urge to go fuck with them, apparently.
Feels like spreading some altruism in their financial areas.
Yep. Is
that what they're calling it these days?
Yes. Right up their financial areas.
I have a bit of a concern, because we basically just signed a peace accord and immediately go around and start fucking with them. Just throwing that out there.
We're not messing with them directly. Like,
we're absolutely getting in their faces about.
I mean,
I'm
all
not
your
bothering
stuff,
them.
right?
Yeah.
Or even the specially marked locations on the map.
Yep.
Oh.
Like, there's all sorts of stuff that they could do in that region and, cause stuff. Like, for instance, any of the major, like I said, I talked about the courthouse and some of those different locations, but there's a lot of big financial buildings that don't have seer control or haven't been claimed. And there's all sorts of those little places that the little pants spider hand-me-down altruism spirits can go fuck with. So, yeah. Where was I? Oh, yes. That is literally where we had left off. Weird and Atreides had talked about the little locust that is also her hallow at the theater. Songbird had been working on a rote, and there was, of course, the whole discussion of, so Zolius, Todd, Mammon, what are we going to do about him? And talking with Hiza. But then we pick up, I believe that would be Tuesday afternoon-ish, after the concilium meeting. Don't know if anybody has any immediate plans or if we're getting together to talk within the cabal about the next steps or, yeah.
Dressing up was a lot of fun. We should make that a regular thing just with us.
I mean, it technically is a regular thing for you guys, once a month at least.
I mean, like, just not for them, because that was peacocking. But we should do something like that for us.
He said the episode title. He said the episode title.
Weird, honey. I do dress up all the time.
I know, but not all of us do, and we're not all out like enjoying that experience together. That's all.
Sure.
Well, I mean, we can go to more fancy dinners, I guess.
Yeah.
Titus is
And get to wear cool
crestfallen.
masks at fancy dinners.
I can't expect Titus to cook for us every single night.
No, and I think at this
Dress
point
him up and bring him with us.
True.
He probably doesn't get out enough.
We'll give him enough of a stipend to take Alicia to fucking Brazilian steakhouse. All you can eat meat for the werewolf.
Very true.
But yeah, I think, and just kind of like working around the forge and doing some ablations, like, can I do those and still like carry a conversation, or is that sort of a dedicate yourself to it?
For me, it's a question of what the oblation is. Like, for instance, working the metal kind of thing. Colossus has done that with you as his oblation and trained you and stuff like that. Okay. And I'm also remembering, I knew there was another thing that happened over the break, air quote, over the week. Atreides has Gnosis 5 now. And I failed to update the character sheet. Sorry, guys, but ta-da!
Also for weird. Gnosis 5.
There was another.
6.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's been...
Yeah, do we want to do that one?
I think that's actually probably the way to start things off. Very specifically, I mean, however you guys want to go over that, talk about what, and we can start out of character and possibly jump in character of what revelations and stuff like that your characters are feeling.
You want to start out, or?
Mine is I don't really need to do like going into a soul or whatever to explain it. It was based around like actually starting to do spirit politicking. Like, this is the first time I have brokered a deal and convinced one to work for me.
It's a very fair point.
And this is a brand new and very odd experience, and I did it good. It worked.
Cool. Which also reminded me, because I didn't ask you guys before, if what praxis you guys picked up with your gnosis increases. Because I don't know that I've kept up with those. Obviously, there's a spot in the character sheet for you guys to put them, but mend. Okay. And based on their silence, I'm going to guess that Weird and Atreides haven't picked out their praxis yet either.
I narrowed it down to a short list.
Yeah, I hadn't picked one.
No problem. Of course, you guys can tell me later. But yeah, it was just one of those, oh, right, I forgot about this thing. I forgot about a lot of things, apparently, this past week. Yeah, so, and I really dig that concept for Atreides of like, this is my inferior arcana, and I'm going to not just throw myself at the arcana, I'm going to throw myself at it like old school fallen magic, werewolf, shaman-ish style, which is very, very cool.
The supernal version of this doesn't make sense, so I'll go a different direction.
Legitimately, dude, that's how I figured
sense.
out. It's how I figured out indirect and direct objects in English, is because I learned them in Spanish, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes so much more sense. Now I can translate it in English. Yeah. English is a dumb language. Thank you.
Had lots of interesting
my whole thing
language
was
discussions this week.
Yes.
Kind of just that, like, the magic way of dealing with them, my brain doesn't grasp. If I think of them as like fey courts that you can make deals with and talk to, I can approach it this way. It's like, I know they're not fey, I know fey are real, but if I deal with it through like the general fallen idea of making deals.
Yep. that you've got Spirit 2, you are capped on your progression unless you get a supernal tutor. Sorry, werewolves just can't help. But Shanna or...
yeah, mages can teach you.
All right, cool. Should be back. I was super tempted to just stall just a little bit longer, get into Photoshop and fix up the Gnosis and be like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. It's all fucked. Right. So if
we time freed into a different episode.
If we're to cool it a little bit with the Fate 5 Plague of Locust stuff here and explain what you were talking about with your Gnosis 6. All right, yeah.
All right. Yeah. So the spending time in the Emanation Realm was a launch pad. Gave her, I mean, Forces is still messed up for her to really understand, but she's got a bit of a handle on it. And that opened her up her eyes into other things. There's whole other worlds out there that she hasn't really been exploring. So her time in the Emanation Realm sort of was a launch pad to an awakening of other possibilities and other things to pursue. That she's not as far along as she thought she was, if there's a lot more to discover.
She says as she takes Gnosis 6 and is now capable of surpassing normal human constraints of skill and attribute.
Yes. And that whole awareness of there's a much larger world out there to explore is what launched her into Gnosis 6.
I dig that. Fine. Ash said hydrate, I hydrate. Like I'm not a huge time streamer or anything, but as I understand, hydrate means drink. Okay, I drink.
There's also one that lets you pick a name. I was like, I don't know what that's for.
Oh yeah, it's I think you can change your name on the server. Oh no, this one is to name a character, item, location in the game. For that was one of the things they were doing with like the pass.
After the charity drive.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Cool. And yes, as Noctel mentions, yes, and now Weird can also become a 2nd degree, 3rd degree, 4th degree master.
10th degree.
Yeah. I mean, okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but Weird does have, 2 lined up pretty close anyways. So, all right. So yay! With absolutely 0 interruptions, YouTube guys. We've figured out the Gnosis and increases, and I think that was just it because Songbird is still like accumulating XP for other stuff at this point now. I don't think you had any spends that I forgot to include, so cool.
Nope.
Right. So
after we double check my math.
Cool. So that takes us back to what you guys have planned for Tuesday.
Do we get another delivery of coffee?
Yes, it is a daily thing for the near foreseeable future.
Cool, man.
I mean, it is probably cold brew now
So,
you bring it up.
Free coffee. Songbird sucks the in out of it, and so coffee. Nice. This is a good deal you've got going. Thanks.
That's like a win-win.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I have enough for my project.
Cool. Now the question is,
So,
where are you doing that at?
Hmm?
Where are you going to do it at?
The hollow?
Okay.
That's why
And
the
are
man
you-
is already in there?
Oh, you were saying putting it into the fire, and so I was just like, I thought you were being dramatic, but I got you now.
No, the hollow exists inside the heart of the forge at the center of the workshop.
Oh.
Or at least the forge was constructed around the center point of the hollow, I think is probably the correct way to put that.
Yeah, I don't remember us ever having like determined what it was because we never bothered to talk about what task it forms as because you are an Obrimos with 3 prime and can go, I just pull it out. So cool.
So yeah, I need probably
Need an afternoon
an
here.
hour.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I don't because I'm Gnosis 5 and then fucking
Need
their
30
sanctum's
minutes.
real good. So
30 minutes minimum.
what's the math on this boy?
Lot. I'm trying to remember how much potency you need to throw into that.
The withstand is hollow rating of desired hollow.
Oh, okay. So 5.
So I need to add 1. Okay. This is not actually a hard spell to cast. You just need a lot of resources for it. Yeah, so I'm going to cast Create Truth. And just channeling all of that mana into the fire to sort of, I think the imago is like creating some sort of core bit of compressed supernal truth for the forge and the hollow to burn as fuel to grow. I need...
Actually, you don't even have to, because you have an existing Hallow.
Uh-huh.
So you don't even need to use Create Truth. You can do Hallow Dance.
Hallow Dance cannot raise. Can diminish a hollow or it can wake up a dormant one. It cannot make it stronger.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Because you're, yeah.
Yeah, you do have to take the -10 penalty for potency. Oh, actually, you don't really. Wow, this is actually kind of like dumb how easy this is to make. Now that I think about it.
Hmm?
If you're making a Hallow in your domain, it's actually very, very easy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, saving up, especially if you're making a big one, like
Right.
saving up 30 mana is it's a lot.
Right. But that's literally it because you don't even need bonus to potency. Oh yeah, that's true. I guess you technically need -2 for the 1 extra. Yeah,
it's a 1. Yeah, you got to beat the withstand.
Yep. So reach for.
Let me make sure.
I mean, your reach count is technically off, but whatever.
I mean, I have reach,
but you have unlimited reach, yeah. So. Yeah, that's my thing. Like, it doesn't matter, but technically, off the top of my head, it's 3 reach to swap primary factor, and then add the +2.
It's potency. Oh no, it's not.
It's duration, but regardless, in this case, it effectively is.
It's potency now.
Yeah, it's like
because it's lasting. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no reason. Yeah. So literally, it's a -2 spell with if you have enough reach. Mm-hmm. And if you're doing it in your domain, and why wouldn't you? Because where else are you going to put a fucking Hallow? Yeah.
All right. So,
cool.
I guess my Yatra bonus is a little high. So, I guess 15 dice, I think, is the right number.
Yep.
Come on, bro.
Oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine actually getting
get all the fucking mana back?
Getting the refund.
Time to go make another one.
Boom, you're just bloated with mana.
Yep.
Well, actually, you would probably not be able to hold it all, and it would sublimate. Is the way I would probably do it.
Yeah, that's probably accurate.
But yeah, just being like, I jump all the mana out, and then get this big wash over, and you get to keep some of it. Yeah, but man,
yeah. So
robbed.
I had to spend. I spent 3 of my
own. That would be
own,
like a big mana bomb going off to anyone with mage sight.
It is, yeah.
27 in the forge, and then 3 out of my own pattern, and like I said, kind of like condensing all of that into like a just singular like nugget of fuel for the hollow to burn off.
So here's
probably
my
rather explosively. How I picture the spell and being. Maybe not to any of my cabal because they don't have prime, but so I did want to talk about the location and the caster's path, and Nimbus affects the resonance that it applies. So I think it's definitely that, like, probably some resonance of like the forge itself, like heat and fires of creation and all kinds of stuff like that was how I picture it. Now you get to have fun things of what this does to all the ley lines in the area, because I just fucked some shit up.
Which comes to the question, the two questions. One, I was thinking about it. Does it give off TAS and accumulate TAS as just raw heat? Or do you think it shows up, especially because at this point you were forging and making this specific hallow?
I think soot probably.
Soot, yeah. That's pretty good.
Would be, yeah. Mm-hmm. Fucking Mistborn. Ash fell from the sky.
Fucking every other sentence.
And then we caught her.
Aww. So, okay, cool. Soot, I like that.
That was dumb. So I'm sorry.
It's okay. We'll keep you around. So the second question then is, do you warn, like, how much because like out of character, we obviously have known that you were going to do this, and in character, everybody has seen you collecting mana. Have you given anybody like a warning and letting people know? Notably, because I think because of the levels of occult and gnosis that our primary members have, that you guys can go, okay, we kind of know what this is going to do. What about for Titus?
Oh, I mean, there's definitely going to be like probably directly after this, like me going, okay, the spell worked. I've done this. This is what I've done. This is like from my knowledge of routes and being able to scout ley lines and stuff. It's like, this are likely areas where magic could course and backflow and something weird could happen. So I've got like him and network probably being like, hey, so keep an eye out on like, and we can like make a roll on like if my ideas are, you know, good or whatever. But
because I'm going to flat out tell you, ever since you mentioned this, there, you know, that for all of the cogs and mandalas and orderly nature of the Aether and Prime, doing stuff like this cannot calculate what it is going to do.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
And so, notably, because for me, that's the whole like point of it being a mystery. Because if you could guess or even remotely know, then it'd be like, oh yeah, we can expect 3 blocks down that we might. No, fuck that. That's boring. No.
Well, I mean, maybe more of just like, if there's other sections of the neighborhood that have like particularly clashing resonances of the ley lines and stuff like that, that would be what Songbird thinks would happen. Now that may not be accurate. Like that, right. I get what you're telling me. I just from in Songbird's head of, this is what I think we need to watch for.
Right. Yeah. And I think that because you and I are on the same page. It's one of those, okay, these are a couple places we definitely need to check, and then keep an eye out for anything else.
Literally anything else.
Right. Yeah. And Titus is looking, going, cool. This is fucking terrifying. Network, meanwhile, is looking just like, I think he's really working on his Morpheus, like calm and collected, especially with the glasses and stuff like that. He's just like, yeah, no, cool, we got this. And like, meanwhile, inside he's like bouncing like with sheer giddy mage joy of all the arcane beats that we might find out there. Cool. So yes, with the with that kind of heads up, yeah, I saw it too. The younger members of the Cabal, unless you guys have something to bring up with them, are literally going to go out now and start scouting the area and basically doing concentric spiraling out. Okay, what has anything happened next to us? And further out. Yeah.
Rose and Network have the ability to see ley lines.
Oh, cool. I mean, you can give it to Titus too.
Yes. Yeah. Fair. So it's not actually mage sight, so yeah.
Yeah.
You
Cool.
are armed and armored with the sight of truth.
Cool. And they're like, all right, cool. And like, we went from completely blind at this to, okay, hey, we can follow the lines and go see where they lead. Yeah, so they book it unless, like I said, any of you senior mages had anything else for them. Nope, cool.
No, this is a good use of their time.
Yep. The three head out, and in my head, the three of you kind of like look to each other and go, all right, so next steps.
Yep. So Seattle.
Or we jet off to Seattle and...
Do we, having just set off a mana bomb in Lower Manhattan, do we want to jet off to Seattle?
But not like
Or do we
immediately.
want to make sure things settle down here before we...
I'm gonna
Probably. Also...
I'm gonna say something strange right now. I think
I'll
we
brace
should.
myself.
I think we should make serious plans and look into what we may get into before heading to Seattle.
growth.
To quote Cleric Overlord, character development.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I think we check with our orders. I think we check with our orders and see if anyone's got any particularly good or powerful connections in Seattle caucuses.
Yes.
I don't personally know anyone out there, so that seems to be, kind of what order connections are for. So,
Yeah.
Which
I
does
wanted
remind...
to...
Go ahead.
I wanted to dive into that weird dream I had and see what I can... if I can pick up anything else from that. More specifically about whoever was with Zulius. I want to see what I can maybe try to learn about them.
Cool.
that seems both reasonable and intelligent. I'm getting these weird dreams. All right, let's go closer to all the places where the weird dream people are from.
Yep. A couple quick questions. So I will go ahead and tell you just flat out mechanically, because of the distance to Seattle, and because Atreides doesn't have the egregor merit at the second level, that all of you guys are dealing with -3 to your order status.
3?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's not even the same. It's not even the same No, wait, no. Okay, it is -2 because it's the same convocation, because it'd be North America. So yeah, -2.
So I'm at 1.
And weird possibly isn't on the Guardian radar out in Seattle. Can't remember what status.
Checking. No, yeah.
Are you
You made me
still?
take the second dot.
Are you still at that first dot?
No, you made me take the second dot.
Oh, that's right. You were given that second dot. I did not make you take it. You did not spend XP. Yep. But yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, for weird, she's not even on the radar. I don't think Atreides is either. Or no, Atreides, you said 1.
No, I have 1.
Okay, so you have 2, 1, and 0. Order status out in Seattle. So it's enough that, in terms of when you guys go there, that Songbird's name, or at least shadow name and such, has probably been heard. Atreides can probably introduce and find some connections, and Weird will show up and all the guardians are going, who are you? And, right.
Yeah, and I'm nobody.
Yep. Which they're like, oh,
Like a
okay, yeah.
locust.
Welcome in. Cool. Just to give you an idea of what you would be walking into when you get out there.
Well, with that, I would love to talk to whoever in the Arrow has the most of that info.
Okay. So to gamify this a little bit, what are you wanting to get out of the conversation? Literally just contact names, or
contact names, lay of the land, as far as if there's a concilium there that like we're like that caucus is attached to or whatever. What sort of really just tactical. We're gonna go out there. I need to know about it. Sort of info.
Cool. Okay.
Who the resident expert on the Seers is, maybe?
Sure.
Yeah, that's probably like even further out research, but this is just like first steps of like what the hell's going on out there.
Go ahead and roll your actually, because here you have enough. Okay, so you can take 1 dot of contacts. You don't need to actually write it down, but you basically have effectively 1 dot judges. 1 dot of contacts for judges. And basically you chat around, and basically Colossus is the one who kind of gives you a breakdown. Colossus doesn't know anybody specifically out there, but being your mentor is like, okay, hang on, you're wanting to do this. All right, let me go dig up some stuff. And okay, so this is what we have. There is a adamantine arrow cabal that is out there in Seattle, and they are they're basically waging guerrilla warfare because the Seers run Seattle. Seattle does not have a concilium like centered around it. There's some in Washington, but they basically just don't mess with Seattle. Seattle is such a cultural hotspot that the Seers were like, this is ours, and we're squatting on it. And it has multiple ministries that work inside of it. And so Seattle is constantly being manipulated and nudged in different ways. So that's just from your contacts, or that's from your order status. Outside of that, and anybody can jump in on this, is if you want to roll your presence plus politics. Or I will give a appropriate intelligence. Yeah, intellect plus politics instead. Basically, as you make kind of calls and look around to basically figure out what exactly is going on in Seattle and kind of get that would be your lay of the land kind of thing. I think that's the right rule.
Hey, Atratus, give me some dots of politics.
Yeah, can I cast that spell to give us some politics?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I 100% expect that. I'm going to
Where is it?
Before you actually do that, let me double check social skills, because there is a literal like suggested one for politics. So let me make sure I'm using the right one.
Politics is a skill.
Right, it's a mental skill. Sorry, yeah, I'm looking in the wrong section. Thank you. Yes, wits plus politics is identify authority. Figure out basically
what is the spell? I know I have a spell to give me skills, yeah.
4 dot mind will give it to you. 3 dot lets you increase it.
Yeah.
I don't have any points in politics, so I would need to give it. Songbird, do you have politics stats?
Nope.
No? Okay, that's what I thought.
Just weird.
Where is it?
Goosey.
All right.
Okay, so let's cue this up then. You
Give us
actually
some
read this
duration
spell.
on it too, because it'll take a little while for us to talk to people, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It is a duration
skill dot per
spell.
potency.
Yeah, I've never actually read the spell. I knew it was a thing I could do, but I've never.
Yeah, it's literally giving you skill dots per potency and then a reach if you want to split that potency up.
I'm just giving it to politics. Sure. So reach doesn't seem to matter because it's in our domain. Or does it? We don't have a
You have mine
No, it
through
does.
your soulstone.
Okay, so it's not the fact that it's a Moro Soulstone. If it's mine with my legacy,
That is how we were
also.
playing OA because I like that it has more of an effect on your soulstones even. If the soulstone
It
is
also
go ahead.
it also adds to the like soulstone trade of like both.
This is a more
this is
valuable
really
stone
unique,
now. Yeah.
but also it's like your reminder that your soulstones are give you connections to your legacy members at that point. So dangerous to lose for sure.
Unless you're weird, in which case it just gives a connection to everybody in your cabal.
In the cabal, yeah.
You make one questionable decision and people never let you
You summon
forget.
one Fate 5 entity on a whim. That'll be weird. That'll be Craig.
Okay, so Yantras, I've got my Soulstone, I've got my Shadow Name, I've got space for one more.
At Gnosis 5, you have 4 Yantra slots.
Cool.
Okay, so that's a 9 bonus on the Yantras, yeah? Which is good because I'm reducing my potency by 6.
Cool. So that'll give you 4.
4 dots, yeah.
Yes. Let me do a math. So 9 and 9. 12. 18 minus
Camo.
6. Yes.
Camo, have you been looking at my DM notes?
2 successes. 12 dice.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Craig's in for the role of
Whatever.
fucking century here in a second.
Yeah.
It's good enough. So y'all have 4 dots in politics.
Politics. Cool.
Or a little bit. It's a duration spell and I took advanced duration, so.
It's a 4-dot spell, so you have it for a month.
Or you have 4 dots, so yeah, a month.
Cool. Yeah, and before weird, we'll just hold for a second. The
Sure.
the die roll is fine. If you guys want to, you can decide if you want to like, hey, cool, everybody's booted up with politics, and we're going to spread out and find out what we're going to do, or do you want to accumulate and do a big teamwork roll?
Oh,
What's the difference?
So
I was
basically, go ahead.
I was looking at it going from the point of view of like arranging resources, access to hollows or sanctums, safe places to stay, that kind of thing.
Because this, and we can get to that, and if once I explain what I have in my mind here, because we're going to have some negatives here. So based on how much information you want to get, you're going to get a penalty on the roll. And so if you want to pile everybody together and be like, we want this, 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 and this, and we're all going to work on it, it's going to be a bigger penalty, but you guys can all contribute to basically the teamwork action and have somebody do the final roll. Or, Songbird can be, I need the tactical layout of stuff. Weird is looking for resources. And then you guys will have small penalties, but you'll each be rolling individually. So you talk amongst yourselves. You decide how you guys want to do this.
I think based on the last 121 episodes of how we work, we'd probably all be going off in our own directions with like different and that's kind of what I suggested of like talking to our orders and stuff like that. Like
I like the idea of each of us like going and getting what we can from
like
our
we all think and
connections
see
and
the world.
resources.
Yeah,
we all think and see the world very differently. So
and that's why I was setting this up.
That's a benefit in my brain.
Let me know what things you get, because weird, we're gonna have you reroll just to make this. Because if you're gonna do teamwork, that then I was just gonna let you just drop that into the bucket.
Mm-hmm.
But so in this case, what things are you guys looking for? So weird, you're saying like what arcane resources are available?
Well, I'm looking for people to talk to make negotiations for access to hallows or safe places or sanctums. Like, looking for some contacts of people we can talk to when we're there to get access to these things. I'm not thinking that they'll be available to us for free or anything, but who we can talk to get them.
Okay, cool. So, and what is Chris looking for? Songbird.
So yeah, like outside of the whole judges thing, I think probably just a lot of as much tactical information on the different like seer ministries and like a little bit of their projects and stuff, but like specific areas that they are centered in, if there's any sort of like understood territories or anything like that.
Okay.
Sort of starting to narrow down of like, hey, this is where we might want to start looking for graves.
Okay. And basically just that.
Yeah, because I already have like I have the specific contact that I was already like looking for of like someone in the AA that might want to break some skulls.
Okay. You were not told that they were AA. Sorry, then.
So there was
I apologize. They're a Pentacle Cabal. They're a Pentacle Cabal.
Okay.
Okay, because I think you did say that. So.
Sorry. Okay.
Or maybe I assumed. I don't know. Either way, Pentacle Cabal.
It's okay. The YouTube will show me that I probably said the AA, that Arrow Cabal or something like that. Okay. So right now you guys are just looking at -2 penalties on your guys' roll, if that's all you guys end up looking for. What about a Travis?
I want any information we can find on specific seers. Like if we can find anything on graves. Because as it is, we know some, but not... We have a general idea that he can do a lot of powerful things. I want to see if any of your information gatherers, like, does the Mysterium have... I mean, there is no Mysterium out there, is there, though? Yeah.
Yeah, there is. There's just no Concilium. There's no organized Concilium. The caucuses are going to cover everything. And so, like, for instance, the judges, they're a Pentacle order. They're tied to some different stuff. You don't necessarily know what. So they have, connections. Because remember that the caucuses cover large areas, and then Conciliums show up wherever there's a central mystery that everybody wants to study. And so they had to like organize things. And like, so for instance, New York had its central mystery long ago and it's burnt up. But the Concilium stayed and is this kind of decrepit leftover thing that nobody really cares about, but it just keeps going because it's been organized.
We're here now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because it's New York.
And because it's New York. So you are looking more for like personal information about graves, would you say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Because he is our target. That's going to be some minuses.
Yeah, that's going to be... I'll let you still do... Yeah. I think that's going to be a -4. So
you got those 4 fresh skill dots.
Yep.
And then, of course, you can throw willpower. So, yeah, if you guys will
re-roll
that. Yep. And like I said, so Songbird and Weird are rolling at -2. Tritus is rolling at -4.
Intelligence, wits, whatever, they're the same stat.
Wits plus politics. You're using that willpower for the 1 success? Sure.
Good thing, too.
Was it your last one?
Yeah.
Nearly so, yeah.
-4 plus 3, -3. Okay. -1. Brain. God.
As chat said, the 11th Arcana, math.
1 success.
2 successes. Cool. So yeah, you guys kind of gather up a bunch of information, and then I'm going to speak out of your mouths here. Songbird, you basically get that there are 3 different ministries that are fighting for control of Seattle and are kind of working stuff. Basically, the Panopticon is there. Oh my gosh. The Praetorian is there. And who is the mind one?
Unity.
Unity, yes. The hegemony.
The hegemon. Yeah.
Yep. What was that, Ash?
Our friend
They're the
Abaddon.
worst.
Praetorians and
Just what I was
Panopticon
thinking.
don't like each other, and I'm like, hi.
Just what I was thinking.
Gross.
Gross, but also
Don't wanna.
effective.
Don't wanna. Don't wanna have to see the bug soldiers again.
Oh, they were cool though.
But they would
So
be
gross.
really friggin' useful in a fight.
Weird was looking for lay of the land contact, kind of like
Yeah. Who to talk to for resources.
cool. It basically comes down to if you want anything magical in Seattle within this city limits, you're talking to somebody who is a seer. All the Hallows, all the like important structures are held by the seers.
So is there a name or some names of people who are open to negotiation?
Yes, various members of the hegemony are very welcoming, and if you're looking for something,
I'll bet they are.
They are happy to trade favors.
All right.
And Graves. Pulling up his character sheet. You already know he's part of the Panopticon. He is a soldier. Is the pylon rank same as Mammon? Zolius. It is known that he is a forces and space master. He is a Thyrsus. And we already knew that about. Oh wait, hang on.
You argued with me that I didn't know
Yeah,
that
you told us
already
you-
last week.
Hang on, sorry. No, sorry, Mastigos. Sorry, hang on. Let me get into my notes
Okay.
here.
So,
ST notes. Here we go.
Boss is
Okay.
Thyrsus. Graves is Mystigos, yes?
Yes,
Got
Grace
it?
is also Mastigos.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Why did he need a friend to screw with Mammon's head then?
Yeah, give me a second here. Hang on. I need to make sure I've got my notes straight because there's the entry with the known arcana, and I think. Okay, cool. That's why. Righto. Okay, so Mastigos, master of forces and space, and then is known to be an adept of at least 2 other arcana. So he's
That's
got,
just 4, right?
correct. And the big thing is he needs a friend because he has 1 dot in mind, apparently. And apparently for a Mastigos, he apparently has problems with mind. There's no mention of why, but it's a known thing. It is a weak spot, and it's kind of like a big tarnish on his record as being like, he's a dual master, but he has 1 dot in mind as a Mastigos.
What a trash Mystigos.
Right, and like everyone's like, what is your problem? He's like, and so it's just one of those things that is known. There's because you got a solid success and this is the person you were looking at, I will go so far as to say there are people who are wonder if he actually has more in mind than he lets people know, because it's a big thing and everyone's like, wait, hang on, is he double? Is this a play?
It's a play.
Right. Because he does have at least some skill in Prime, and he can veil himself, supernally veil himself. So yeah. And I apologize, gang, because I was looking at my ST notes and I was like, why is this stuff wrong? This is because this is from the notes I have in Conca are not the same ones I have in Google Drive. Google Drive is updated for new graves. This is original graves. So, yeah.
Okay, so we have some information, which scary.
I just want to say, I like creation of an NPC that has one dot and a ruling arcana, even though they're a master of another, because I think that's really interesting. I talked about it in my Q&A, but I had an Acanthus that had one dot of time, because just nope.
It's a thing. So people are very curious what the hell his thing. And yes, to reiterate, he is a 2nd degree master, which means he has at least Gnosis 6.
Yep.
And so yeah, there's a lot going on about like who he is and why he's still just a soldier and he hasn't upgraded and why he hasn't been promoted. And he was promoted and he was doing stuff, elsewhere. And so yeah, there's a couple different things. The name Mr. Graves has definitely like been around for a bit. And at least for Songbird and Weird, you have seen him, or at least the post-cognition. And he's an older man, to remind you. He's like, late 50s. And, has, some experience under his belt, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also get a list of known associates. One is Cynthia, who is no longer in the picture, as well as
East.
Yeah. Cool. That went better than I had expected, because I was very concerned. I was like, this might be better if they combine, because then it's only going to be it's a -7, not -7. Whatever. I'm not going to do math. It's not that kind of day. -8, yeah.
What do we say to the god of math?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand this shit.
Right.
I looked at math since I was 19, and I don't plan on starting again.
And so, yes, you guys spend, I would imagine, probably a handful of hours scouring contacts, working stuff out, and getting what information you have here, and kind of reaching out to some further contacts.
Oh, I kind of figured this was over the course of a couple of days, even.
Actually, that probably makes sense, considering you're talking about Seattle and not nearby.
Yeah, like I would definitely have been hanging out at the Athenaeum probably a lot to try to just meet up with anyone I could find. And
I imagine there's a bit of like, well, Onyx said, she took a trip out there for some project a little while back, and she's, she has this little piece of information, and like definitely like I picture it as like a few days of putting nuggets together. Finding the right sauce to dip them in.
Right. And a side little note, just for the future, it doesn't affect anything right now, but just a quick reminder that when doing mental skill checks, because Travis has Mind 4, she now has that same thing that Drifter had, where you can get an exceptional success on 3 if you spend a mana. Mm-hmm. So if you guys pile in pools like that, that can be kind of useful. Cool. But I didn't want to mention that before you decided what you're doing. Cool. So yeah, you guys spend a couple days doing that. Network, I almost said Shanna, Nako, and Titus, as well as Judd, are basically doing patrols. And there is definitely odd goings on and minor mysteries, and but there's nothing world shifting, nothing absolutely, but it definitely sounds like in D&D terms, wow, you guys spawned a bunch of side quests for your little newbies.
Yeah.
And
we spawned a bunch of arcane beats for our cabal.
Yeah. And they're digging into some things. And a lot of them are tied to, what a surprise, the Prime and Forces Arcana. Just especially when you talk about it being a forge as the center point of the Hallow and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Probably a little bit of matter stuff too, but a lot of new things for them to dig into.
Oh no! Oh, okay. You froze again for a second on my end. So I was like, "Oh no, not again!"
That was just you.
You were just glitching there for us. It was your end.
All right. Further plans, processes.
So, any resources that we're going to want to get a hold of out there are going to be owned by Seers. I've got some names in the hegemony that are willing to deal. Are we prepared to deal with them, or should we go in planning on going, like, living off the land?
I think first step is going to be, at least from my perspective, getting in touch with this cabal that's out there waging like guerrilla war. See if we can help them first, or if they have anything to help us with. Seattle sounds like it's basically a war zone between different factions of Seers because none of us are there for the most part, so they might as well fight each other.
Yeah,
especially the Praetorians,
Yeah, and
do we want to contact our Praetorian ally?
I mean,
I will admit
you guys definitely
tempted.
do not have a dot. You definitely do not have a dot of ally, but yes,
ally.
Yeah, and the other thing too. Yeah, the other thing is, like, it is definitely not a Cold War, but, I guess it is basically a Cold War. Obviously, there's no fighting in the streets because Seers don't do that, but there's definitely, like, a whole, oh, yeah, and then so-and-so showed up and had their awakened soul just gone, and we think it was one of the other ministries and stuff like that. Yep.
I can't do that yet.
It would perhaps depend upon the different ministries that are in an area. Because, like, if a town was ruled by, or was being fought over by, like, the general and the raptor, I could see that going pretty hot pretty quickly.
Yeah, though it might be more like all in Twilight, which, by the way, that is a fucking visual of, like, all sorts of shit fighting and happening, and then just...
Raptor is life, and general is forces, so...
Oh.
Maybe not.
Which one is Ruin? Ruin is spirit. Okay.
Ruin.
Yep.
No, Ruin is fate. Nemesis is spirit.
Nemesis, thank you, yes.
That's the guys I had Jill fight in Richmond.
Right, and I was like, oh, yeah, we fought them in Richmond. No, completely wrong name. Okay. Has any of you had a character die? None of these characters have died yet.
Oh, me.
Yeah, I mean, we know they don't like each other. Abaddon has helped us screw over the Panopticon once. He might be... We also
intrigued, maybe. We didn't leave on the best of feet, though.
I mean, we didn't meet on the best of terms, but we both got what we needed out of that arrangement.
I thought we left on fairly
decent
terms.
I mean,
it was terse.
The whole interaction was terse. Like, it was terse.
The whole thing was terse.
The word go.
It was maybe a little easier for y'all. Songbird definitely is like, fucking Abaddon. Don't like this guy.
Mean, yeah, in general, I feel like we mutually benefited from that arrangement. Wasn't it also done to help him in his standing? Because his his pylon sucked and got themselves enthralled by an abyssal entity, and that looked bad on him.
Yeah.
So we went in and basically helped him fix that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know
So
that
in
necessarily helped him. It just meant that he wasn't going to get,
That sounds like a
flare.
help.
Yeah,
does
in
help.
addition to dealing with the bound, we also helped him personally with his standing. I feel like we could probably get something from him. I don't expect him to run till the tell the Panopticon that we're coming after Graves, at the very least. I feel like at most we can expect him to, or at worst, to not help us and just kind of.
I agree that that's a possible resource to follow, but I don't think we take it from the point of you owe us. I think this is, we've benefited each other before. Why don't we try something again and see if it works?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't.
Because for sure, he's not going to feel like he owes us shit.
Especially from the angle of, hey, so, I mean, the literal whole purpose we're here is to kill Panopticon mages. Mage. Singular at first, probably.
Yeah. So, if we're here to deal with that, I feel like he could benefit from that. So, I would be down to contact him.
Let's follow Songword's idea first and establish contact with the cabal that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
And get a better sense of the lay of the land. They may not like the idea of us cutting deals with anybody. If we want to rely on them for backup or info or whatever, then we should probably talk to them first and get a lay of the land from them and get a read on them. And maybe we decide we don't want to deal with them and we just go it on our own and try and make deals.
Yeah, I definitely am not trying to get sucked into, like, fixing things in Seattle. Like, that's not my goal here. I don't care that much.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't.
We
can't.
We're here for one thing and one thing only.
Like, we are 3 tentacle mages. We're not winning the battle
Tipping
to
the
liberate
balance.
Seattle. Like, no. We can go in, we can assassinate. We might tip the scales one way or the other for one of the seer orders, but we're not liberating Seattle.
Not to say that we couldn't, but that's not our goal.
I'm going to say we couldn't. Just flat out, I will. Yeah.
What kind of roll do I need to make to scrub my couple little brain cells together and, like, cross-reference, like, this whole, like, lay of the land thing with Zolius's plan to, like, be in charge but not really want to do anything?
And you trying to extrapolate what's going to happen?
Like, yeah, like, what's going to happen, or, like, why this is his plan particularly.
Okay. Roll intellect plus politics. I know it's going to be a tough one, but hey, for politics.
Hey, any penalties or anything?
Nope.
Okay. I got 5 dice. I got 1 success.
Yeah. Basically, scrubbing your 2 brain cells together. And especially, like, coming at this from the adamantine arrow of, like, you take out a commander and their second in command, what happens? And your, I'm going to say, limited knowledge of hierarchy for within the Seers, very likely, like, he's going to be promoted, but without knowing exactly what his pylon does and where it's stationed at, you're not exactly sure what kind of effect it's going to have, other than Zolius is going to take over.
Sure.
So if it's, because, like, similar, Abaddon, Abaddon's pylon was in charge of that particular bound and probably some other stuff. So as far as you know, actually, we'll use Abaddon as an example. Abaddon is possibly from Seattle. You guys are guessing probably very, based on your various knowledge, but was doing stuff outside the temple in.
Right.
Oh my God. Right.
Cambodia.
Cambodia. Thank you. So Zolius pylon might be based in Seattle, but especially considering there's 2 Mastigos in that pylon, and they're part of the Panopticon, where they're actually working is anywhere. And you also know what Zolius had been doing previously.
Fair. So you get a couple little ideas, but nothing conclusive.
Right.
Cool. This is going to be messy.
We kind of knew that going in.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's going to be messy in a way that I don't usually get into. Usually, the blood splatter is fine.
Yeah, there's going to be unpredictable fallout from this.
Actually, Kama brings up a good question. So what is going to be the status of our 3 different familiars during this trip out to Seattle?
Well, I'm going to be leaving May behind, but Raven's going to come with me.
Okay.
Gabe's with me.
That's kind of what I figured.
Like,
when it comes time for actual work, you bring Gabe.
Yeah. Because if it comes down to it, I can make him very, very scary. So.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, he has some very useful new one that we've, used once ever. I can increase his rank to make him horrifying. And this is my ghost brother.
If you don't call him that anymore.
Yeah. He's Gabe. I do kind of wish we had given him a different name. But as it is, it's...
Yeah, he's like, nah, I'm used to this one, man.
This is my name now. I'm like, okay.
Cool. In that case, I think we'll probably call our break right here. And we'll come back and figure out if you guys are heading out, if there's any more prep that you guys want to do. We'll talk about that during the break.
Dream
Yes,
explorations.
Yep.
Because we didn't do that this time.
Right. So as always, chat, YouTube folks, people hanging out on Discord, people listening to podcasts, thank you for joining us. We always appreciate it. And if you want to support us monetarily, come by patreon.com/occultists anonymous, or just staylucky.club. And if you want to join our conversation and ask what's going on, or you're confused about where Gabe is or anything like that, that's what Discord is for. We are totally here. We can totally answer all your questions. And if we happen to be asleep, which actually I think between the 4 of us, we actually have an almost 24-hour cover of time. But we have a terrific community who will also happily answer your questions. So come by, hang out, chat with us. That is yeetinto.space. Drop that into your URL box there, and just that'll get you over to our Discord. Yeah, cool. We'll be back in just a couple minutes for Twitch.
You're lucky.
YouTube guys, we'll see you on Friday.